guys, I'm back today to share with you guys a few cards that I made, and I wanted to try to start maybe like a little series. I don't know how often I'll do it, but based upon the theme, it might be quite often. And what I wanted to call is Never Have I Ever Used This Stamp Set. And I have so many stamp sets in my stash that I bought because I seen such a cute card made with it, and I'm like, oh, I got to make that card. And then I buy the stamp set and I stick it in my drawer, and I have not used it. So I wanted to try to challenge myself to use that stamp set to kind of make the card that inspired me to buy the stamp set, and then try to use it beyond that and make one or two other cards also. So today I wanted to share with you guys one of the first stamp sets that I decided to pick out. I decided to go small, and this is from Simon Says Stamps, and it says You Are Possum, and that's the name of the stamp set, You Are Possum. And it comes with gosh, I can't even talk today, Rough Day. It comes with a little kitty cat, ball of yarn, little doggy. It says Hi Friend. That one says Meow. And then I also have the coordinating dies, and that'll cut out the word possum. So I decided to go ahead and try to use this one, and I'm going to show you all the products that I used first, and then I'll show you the card that inspired me to buy the stamp set, and then the other two things that I also made with this stamp set. So this is the stamp set that started it all, and this is the paper pad that I used mostly for my cards that I made, and this is My Mind's Eye. Don't know if there's a name on this one. That's just the paper pad that I used. Had it in my stash for a little while, so I used that. I also used this die from My Creative Time. It's an older die that I purchased a while ago. I still got some of the paper left in there, but it makes a little picture frame, and I was wanting to make it into a film strip, which I don't have. So I will show you in a short clip how I was able to cut this bottom part off and still get the stitching, and then piece them together to make it look like a picture frame or a film strip. Then I also used this Hello stamp right here from this Simon Says stamp set, and this one is called Sending Happy Thoughts. So I used this and made like a piece of flair out of it. And then I'm not sure who these circle dies are from, but I pulled out these and used one of the circles that matched up with that stamp set to be able to cut that circle out perfectly. And then on some of the other cards I made, I used this stamp set this die set right here. I used this paw. This is from My Favorite Things Dynamics. And then this is from Studio Calico. I used this. I cut it out, but I fussed the cut around here and used just the one woof. And then the last two other things that I used is these spare parts, epoxy enamel stickers or whatever they're called. I used this to make my mock flare pieces. And then I used this embossing folder from Doris. It's got the little puppy paws all over it. So with that being said, I'm going to show you the cards, and then I have like a short like tutorial on the card that I made. I'm not sure that I'm going to do it that way in the future, but I don't know. I mean, when I was first starting out, I always liked to see how things were made. So anyways, this is basically the card that I scrap lifted. I will put the original post that I got it from on Pinterest. I think it is connected with Simon Says Stamps blog, and I will put a link to that down below. But this is the one that I decided that I wanted to make, and you can see how I was telling you that I actually used my die to cut the die again, and I pieced them together on a piece of paper to make it look like a film strip. So very simple. I got a little tutorial on how I put that card together, so that will follow. So I had one made already and made another one, and then I also decided to go ahead and try and make another card. So I cut the dog out with the die, glossy accented his nose, which I glossy accented their noses too, and used the little this black jelly roll type pen to enhance the eyes. And then there's the wolf that I cut out, and then I cut out that heart and did some clear embossing powder over it, 2 coats. And these are matte colored black sequences from Pretty Pink Posh. And then on the inside I put You Are Possum. So I also made 2 of those cards, and then I did the one dog in the gray. And then I just had a couple of picture frames left over, so I made these little 3x3 cards. Thought maybe I could put them in with a little rack or something. And there was the little flare piece that I made with the hello that I stamped out and cut out and put that epoxy sticker over it. So I got that one, and then the last one is this one right here. So anyways, those are the cards that I made. Like I said, there's going to be a short little tutorial on the picture frame card that I will load with this video. And if you guys have any questions or comments, just leave them down below. I'm so happy for the subscribers that I've picked up so far. Let me see if I can pull just a quick shout out to who a few of them are. Mel over at All Things Pretty had definitely given me a shout out to have some of my subscribers that I had before switch over to my new channel. I had Leslie Owens, Cheryl Thompson, Sherry Wolf, Delonda Martin, Rebecca Varga, who else? Sandy Sarasin, excuse me if I'm pronouncing these wrong, Shariki 19, Judy Judd, Judy, I'm sorry, Anna Cardoso, and I think I had Mel subscribe, and Kelly at the Pickled Strawberry. So thanks guys, and stay tuned for a short tutorial, and I hope to see you guys soon. Go ahead and challenge yourself to do this also. Pull out a stamp set that you haven't used before, make a card, share it, tag me in it. I would love to see it. So, alright guys, thanks. Okay guys, so I'm going to start with the coloring of these little dogs. I had already stamped out some of the images, and I laid out the color of the Copics that I used up there above, starting with the lightest color, just kind of filling the little dog in a little bit, trying to get the cardstock wet so that the markers will move. And I'm moving on to the second lightest color and touching that up a little on the edges, going to try to blend it all out a little bit further into the dog and finish him up. And then there is the third and the darkest color going on, and blending and blending. So once you get that cardstock good and wet, it usually blends in pretty well. I haven't used my Copics very much lately. I think some of them are actually starting to dry out, but I kept working it, and finally got it blended to the way I wanted it. And looks like I'm adding a little bit more of the darker in there, and just going to blend that out some more. And then I'm going to move on to the collar and fill that in once I'm done blending this here. So I try to cut out as much as possible, but you never know exactly how much is the right amount to cut out, so that the video isn't too extremely long. And just that blending sometimes can be really difficult to get it smooth. So especially, like I said, if your markers are a little dry. But looks like I'm just about done there. I think I was actually testing the tip to see how dry it was, and trying to finish that out. So definitely need to be getting online and ordering some of those refills to fill my Copics back up. But hopefully I'm done here. I'm going to fill in the collar a little bit with two different reds, the darker and the lighter. I decided to move on to the other one since being left-handed sometimes presents challenges. But anyway, so that's the two reds that I used for the collar, and then I'm going to touch a tiny bit of yellow right there at the bottom for that. And then here I'm showing you unfortunately I didn't have my camera turned the right way, but showing you the picture frame that I used to cut out to make the film strip. And if you lay that in there, it catches in those notches just right, and the bottom part is overlapping, so when I run that through just through the bottom, it'll cut off just that little bit on the end. I'm sure a lot of people have probably done this technique with other dies and made them shorter or longer, but if you're not sure how to do that, I can do a different tutorial on like maybe a square rectangle or something and show you how that's done. But so that solved that problem, cut that off, and here I have the three pieces. And what I did is just cut a white piece of paper in a strip a little bit smaller than the actual frame, and glued the top and bottom to that white strip so that I can inlay those pieces of with the dog stamped on it into that little corner there, and get it back into the film strip. So I had originally colored these, and then I laid that picture frame around it and cut them out, die cut them out, so that way I got the perfect square to inlay back inside the black picture frames, or the film strip. So here I'm just putting on the glue, trying to line them all up, and hopefully it'll pass as a film strip. Excuse me if I keep clearing my throat. My sinuses are just draining and have me all stuffed up. But here I'm just trimming off the excess that I don't need for that film strip, and I will end up laying these little pieces inside, adhering them down with probably some AGT tape, and get them all in place so it will look like a little film strip now. And I'm going to move on next and show you the papers that I used. I think I cut these in 1.5-inch strips, and the longest one I cut to 5 1/4 because I didn't want it to go past the bottom of my card, which is an A2 size card. And I'm layering them on top, trying to see how I want to get them together. I didn't want one paper sticking out from aside the other, so I was trying to square up those tops a little bit, if that makes any sense, and figure out exactly how they would match up. And then I put a staple in them to hold them in place, and then I'll end up cutting just the top of that off and making that even so that I can lay my picture or my film strip right back on top and decide how I want that to look. I take that little tiny clothespin. I end up using some glossy accents to hold that in place. And then here I'm showing you just the embossing folder that I used, and run that through my Cuttlebug to get that embossed background that I wanted for my card. And that I don't use my embossing folders as much as I should. I didn't even know I had as many as I did. I don't know how I got so many. So that was another challenge to use that. So that turned out perfect. And then I'll end up taking that little pack that I put together, laying that on top. That's where I use the glossy accents on the back of that clothespin. And I used it on the sides and everything just to keep that clothespin intact. I don't know if you guys have ever had them where they pinch apart. There I was just showing the stamp set that I used, and stamped that out, cut it out with my die, put one of those enamel things over top of it, just lined it up and kind of pinched them together. Pressed down on it really good and hard, rubbing it, trying to get all the air bubbles out, and just laid that on top as a piece of flair. So, and there was my cards. There was the other one that I made. I put glossy accents on the nose. And that's it, guys. Hope you have a great day.